Hey everyone, this is Angus from Boss Fitness and welcome to another edition of the Boss Babe Success Stories. And today we're live with the young champion that is Grace. Mighty
Hi.
Grace, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Very good. It's a Monday today, loving it. How exciting to be rocking this out on a day where typically people just don't like it, the dreaded Monday-itis. But it's awesome to be having a chat with you. I'm excited to sort of hear some more about the awesome success that you've achieved, my friend, and digging into some of the journey that you've been going through. Because you're joining me on this call because you've got some awesome stuff that you want to share in terms of where you were and how you've come to where you are now in the confident and elegant person that you have become. So first and foremost, thanks for agreeing to jump on the call with me today. And for being open, and thanks in advance for sharing some insights and being vulnerable with what you've gone through. Okay. So, Mighty Grace, why don't you kick things off first with sort of sharing what it was like for you before our paths crossed. So, what were things
Yeah.
like in terms of your health and fitness? What were some of your frustrations? Why don't you share and lay the scene for those listening where you were at before we sort of started together?
Well, I've always liked to keep myself healthy, like exercise, eating right.
Mm-hmm.
But like there's the Asian norm where girls have to be skinny and pale.
Yeah.
And I guess before I was lifting weights, but then I was discouraged to do it because apparently it's not good for you or something. It's
Mm-hmm.
what Chinese people believe to be the case for women.
Yeah.
So like the Asian girls to be skinny, it's not like a toned skinny, it's like a flat, like there's no shape to it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like flabby. Yeah, it doesn't look good. And so I was struggling with the social norm, like the Asian culture, social norm, and my inner like desire to be toned.
Yeah.
So that was kind of tiring to deal with every day. I just wanted to, lift some weights and feel strong, but then like my head would be like, no, I can't do that because then I won't be perceived as beautiful in my culture. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. I'm sure some of those that are listening can relate as well. Yeah, totally. So it was as if you had a great desire to move things forward and better yourself, but it was as if there was some sort of just barriers in the way or limitations that were there. How long would you say that you were cruising along for and trying to change yourself before we actually started working together? How long was that, do you reckon?
Probably like a year and a bit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So a decent amount of time.
Yeah.
And obviously it's been awesome to see how you've changed from all those things. So
Yeah.
as you were saying there, you were sort of cruising along. You were eating right as most people are, and you were in your own little bubble and just cruising along.
Yeah.
You mentioned though that you sort of weren't achieving your goals and you weren't able to build yourself towards your ideal body image and stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
What was the impact of, I guess, that happening upon you? Obviously, it meant that you weren't, in a state of like 100% confidence and happiness with how you were looking and feeling and stuff. But was the fact that that wasn't happening and you weren't achieving your goals impacting any other areas of your life, or like, what was the frustration there? How did that look like?
I think it's more like, oh, I'll never get anything right. The negative self-talk, like in every area of my life.
Mm-hmm.
So not just the getting fit part, but then like the studying part, the other
the whole
parts.
thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So for those of you guys that are listening, Grace is someone who is smashing it out at uni. So she's got study on, this on, that on. But the fact of the matter was that her goals were important to her, which is obviously what formed part of her why in terms of her desire to actually change herself, which she well and truly has in terms of sort of my coaching. But cool, yeah. So we can see that you were sort of, I guess, over here, you're point A, and now you're at point B, and you've moved forward and gained some awesome results, Grace. Why don't you share, I guess, how things have changed from where they were then and how they are now. How's your knowledge grown? How's your body changed? Like, just begin to share some of the cool, positive things that have happened, across our space of time.
That's a very broad question. Yeah.
It is a bit, isn't it? But it's pretty much where were
Yeah,
things, where are they now?
everything, like, I feel like a lot of things has changed for me in terms of the way that I look at food, the way that I exercise, the mentality that I have, be more persistent, be more positive.
Yeah.
I think one of the best things that I've gotten out of this is not just the physical side of things, like getting to shape and getting toned, but it's about talking positively to myself.
Yeah.
Because before I would just be like, oh, I can't do this, I can't do this. Like, I don't know, like when we encounter things that we can't do properly, you can hear yourself, like the negative talk louder. So that when I was smashing out the exercises, I was talking to myself. I was like, oh my goodness, I can't do this, I'm going to die. But then, like, the other part of me is like, no, you can do this, you're going to smash this out. And I think when we train to listen to the positive thoughts more, we actually become more positive.
Yeah, definitely.
And so the negative side just like slowly fades away, even though it's still there. But then it becomes the most part of me.
Definitely. So it's as if you've had some sort of big growths, both physically, yes, in terms of how your body looks and feels at the moment, but also it sounds like mindset-wise and working that willpower muscles of yours and just growing in your strength in terms of self-talk. And obviously, self-talk's a massive thing for all of us because we've got all these thoughts racing through our head each and every day. Some of those things are decisions, some of those things are thoughts, some of them are just, little things that are just there. And sometimes it can be pretty hard to, remain consistent with anything, especially health and fitness wise, because we've got so much just clutter and just stuff going on that it makes it hard to be able to, apply yourself properly, and especially in your sense as well, being, the busy sort of chick that you are. It was awesome to see that you were able to, sort of take on what I told you to and fit it in. And I guess be able to flourish, because your workouts, we made sure that they were, sort of like intense and quality focused, but didn't take that long. And then, nutrition-wise as well, like, and this is what we're going to touch on now, is just how do you feel that your, knowledge and your relationship with food has changed now based on what you've learned compared to how it was before and just sort of eating right and just eating healthy?
Yeah, so before, I was trying to eat healthy, but, like, normally I don't, when when I'm stressed, I just kind of stress eat, like, a lot of junk food, like chocolate, chips, just a lot of, like, really calorie-dense foods. But now I feel like every time I look at the food, I'm like, no, but have I ate the macronutrient first? And it's like, how the percentage you told me, it's like is it 70 or 80% and then 20, 30%?
Yeah, the 80 and 20, that's right.
Yeah, 80 and 20. And then so I'm like, okay, so I can eat those junk food, but then I have to eat the 80% first, then there's 20%. I try to keep to it. But sometimes it just, I'm still learning.
Oh, no, exactly, that's right. It's a moderation thing though, isn't it? But I think by the sounds of from, our personal one-to-one messages and things like that, and just seeing the, the growth and the changes that have been happening with you in terms of just your knowledge that you've been gaining now is, like for those listening, Grace is someone who was always asking questions, would send me things and say, what about this? How does this work? Whatever. She was just keen for knowledge, which is really cool because the more knowledge that you have that is actually relevant towards your goals, the more empowered and actual, I guess, in a state of certainty that you'll feel. So, with Grace as well, one of the things that she was just asking was, what about Macca's? What about this? And I would say, and like it was just reinforcing the fact that, like, yes, we are led to believe that there's junk food and then there's clean food and then there's healthy food and there's this and there's that. But just having the mindset that all food is food. It's all equal. The body can use it. But then obviously there's just varying levels of nutrients contained within that food that our body can use. So Grace gave reference before in terms of the 80-20. Basically what that is, that's where we have about as best we can, Not, full on written in stone or anything like that, but a great mix of just nutrient dense food and then, nutrient poor food. So that's all you have, the chocolate, Nutella, ice cream, whatever that may be. So, this is where moderation comes into it, and where I feel many people are able to thrive, and what makes it easier for them to fit it into their lifestyle, as Grace was able to. She would go out for takeaway meals, these meals, have this, have that, and, was able to achieve consistency and, develop that better relationship with food. But awesome. I was going to say nutrition's a big thing, and it's been so good to see that that's been a big sort of impact and change within you. But so, I guess, speaking from, a personal sense, Grace, for those who are, sort of listening, who are, thinking about taking that, well, not even that, but like for people who are, I guess, stuck, or maybe just feel like they're stuck in like a cycle, if you will, of just sameness and going through the motions and not really getting anywhere. What would you say, in terms of you and you going through the changes that you've gone through? What words of wisdom or encouragement would you want to give to anyone that's sort of feeling that way?
I think firstly is just to find someone who can hold you accountable. I think that's really important because, like, we have lots of life stresses, and I think having someone there to encourage you and check up on you and making sure that you're on the right track is really important. So secondly, maybe just being persistent. Nice. Yeah, because like sometimes I don't always feel like exercising. I just, every cell of my body just feel like, lying down and relax or something like that. But and there will be days when like you feel like you want to do that and you go through to relax and to eat or whatever. But then it's just persistent. Like, don't let one failure, or not failure, but like don't let one stuff up continue, and just persist with the good work that you have been doing. So if you have been working out the whole week or for 4 days, you have like 2 days of rest, and like keep going. Don't let that one stuff up stuff up your whole journey. And then I think thirdly, which is really important, is to stay positive.
Yes, love it. I suppose like the persistence thing as well. Like I can relate to it definitely as well. Like I'm not perfect myself. There are days where I just don't feel like getting up to train, especially at the moment as well. Like I get my workouts done in the morning, and it's winter at the moment, so it's much easier to stay in bed and stay in the warmth or keep the heater on at home and just not go out to the gym. As you said, it's persistence and just keeping those eyes on the prize and the goal at hand. Powerful stuff. Awesome. You mentioned there as well, getting someone that you can align yourself with, having that accountability and stuff set in place. So for anyone who's maybe looking for a coach, or has maybe even been following me as well for a while, Grace, why don't you share why they should sort of approach me, and sort of even share some personal experience from you as to what you enjoyed most from your coaching with me?
I think Angus is very patient and he's very positive. Like, there are days when I just feel horrible because I haven't been doing the workouts. I haven't eaten properly because like I just feel like being lazy. But he's always there. He's always like, oh, that's all right. Like, you can smash it out tomorrow. You're going to do good. You're a hustle queen. Like, I think always being there, always being positive really helps you, or helps me personally, to keep on track. Yeah. And I guess the seminars as well, it's really helpful. The cellulite, carb cycle, and all the other ones as well. Yeah.
That's it. Awesome. No, thanks so much for sharing, Grace. And I was going to say thank you so much for your time today as well, and just being open with some of your struggles, but also some of your wins, and inspiring other people who are listening as to what's possible for them to achieve greater change. And for those of you who are listening that are considering getting a coach and taking things to the next level, so that you can actually get out of your stuck in a rut sort of routine and just moving not moving forward or whatever, I'd encourage you to just click below, and you're going to get access to a link for a free call with me. So I did the exact same thing with Grace as well when our paths crossed. We spent a bit of time just going over where she was at, what she was struggling with and what she was frustrated with and why things weren't working. and then we got nice and clear on where she wanted to move herself towards and what her vision for her, her lifestyle, health and fitness was. And then, it enabled me to really see where I could fit in and help to match her needs, and I would do the exact same, for you as well. So entirely free, just get in touch for a chat and we'll see if we're a good match. And if you want as well, get in touch with Grace on Facebook. I'm sure she wouldn't mind connecting with you and sharing some, more personal testimony and just love and encouragement, because she's an absolute champion, such a funny girl as well. I love our chats, but just take action, okay? Don't let this be an opportunity that be missed. If you're listening, I'd really encourage you to get in touch with me. I'd love to help you to become a boss babe as well. But once again, Grace, thanks so much, my friend, for your time. You take care. I look forward to staying in touch. And for everyone else that's listening, see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.